To my queer black men who are in touch with their feminine side and want to work in entertainment, I need to tell you the truth as someone who lives inside this world every day. I once auditioned for a major project and I was stellar in the room. It was a dual audition and even my co-host turned to me afterward and said, "You were incredible. They're going to give you the job." And I looked at her and I said, "Honey, I could walk in there and be the next big thing and they still wouldn't give me the job because they are not putting my tail on that network." And I was right. Not because I wasn't qualified, but because identity plays a role in this industry that talent alone cannot overcome, okay? This business will challenge you in ways most people never talk about. Not the work itself, but the way your identity gets filtered through everyone else's expectations and discomforts. You will deal with white people and people of other races who celebrate you only as long as you remain entertaining and non-threatening. The moment your presence becomes too real, too layered, too grounded, the room shifts. You will deal with black people who want you to present yourself in a way that aligns with their idea of masculinity. And if you do not, they may withhold support, not because you are not gifted, but because your existence disrupts what they were taught to expect. You will deal with gay people who will lift you up only if your identity aligns with their desires or their idea of what queerness should look like. If they are not attracted to you or do not see themselves reflected in you, you may become invisible to them too. See, in this industry, you will often feel as if you have no true home, no safe demographic, no community where you fully belong, because you will be underestimated consistently. You will be cast as the sidekick, the accessory, the comedic shadow standing next to someone deemed more marketable. You will watch people with less talent, less training, and fewer ideas rise faster because they are easier for the world to digest. And here is the part that may hurt. Do not expect those who are winning to bring you with them. Even the ones who look like you, even the ones you've supported, because they too often benefit from the very norms that limit you. Their access depends on maintaining proximity to what society finds acceptable, and they may cling to that without ever noticing the privilege that it gives them. But the biggest challenge is learning how to exist inside a system where every part of who you are is simultaneously desired and rejected. So your femininity will be praised, but only when it entertains. Your blackness will be celebrated, but only when it fits the narrative. And your queerness will be embraced, but only when it is palatable. And your full self, the intersection of it all, may feel like too much for everyone. And this is the reality. And that's not to discourage you, but to prepare you. Because if you choose this path, you must walk into it knowing that the world is still learning how to hold space for people like us. And you will spend much of your career carving out room where no room was ever intended. But if you understand these truths, if you prepare for them, then you can navigate this industry without losing yourself in the process. Because while we may not always belong in the spaces we enter, we still have the power to reshape them.
Playwright Terrell Alvin McRaney met actor Jeremy Pope when his play Choir Boy made its New York stage debut off-Broadway. 5 years and one Oscar win later, the two have reunited as Choir Boy bows on Broadway. Let's meet McRaney, the mastermind behind this very personal play, and the rising new talent who lifts his voice in the leading role. Choir Boy centers on the students at a prep school struggling with the institution's deep roots in tradition. For playwright Terrell Alvin McRaney, the story was born out of his relationship with his own community of Liberty City, Miami, which was also the setting of his hit film Moonlight.
Play has always come from the same impulse, which is that at once I love and am invested in my community, and I want that community to thrive, and I want it to be prideful of the people who come from it. But having a love for your community sometimes also means that your community asks you to change, bend things about yourself.
Growing up gay with a love of writing and the arts wasn't the most accepted of life paths on the streets of McRaney's childhood home.
There seemed to be a sort of societal push to leave my community. That clearly what I needed wasn't inside my community, it was outside. How do you be your full self in a community that may not always accept fully who you are and what you are? And I have no answers for that. And so whenever I have no answers for a question, I make a play about it.
Although Choir Boy marks his Broadway debut, McRaney has received great acclaim for his plays off-Broadway, in London, and regionally from coast to coast. A play with rousing gospel music, Choir Boy premiered at London's Royal Court Theatre in 2012 and New York's Manhattan Theatre Club off-Broadway in 2013.
The mythical school that we've created centers around the legacy of Negro spirituals. Negro spirituals are probably some of the greatest treasures in terms of the cosmology of the Black experience in this country over the last 500 years. And then we get introduced to Ferris, who is a young queer man who is charged with leading that legacy in this high school. And what does that mean for him? How does he find his space, his own voice?
Way down yonder by myself, I couldn't hear nobody pray.
Ferris is played by Broadway newcomer Jeremy Pope, whose face graces the marquee here at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater.
When I heard that the marquee was up, I didn't want anyone to send me pictures. I just want to see it. And as soon as I got it and saw it, I just called my mom, and she was driving, so she pulled over and was like, "What? Let me see it."
Pope previously earned raves for playing Ferris in the play's off-Broadway debut. The role has brought unexpected joy for this rising star.
It's kind of like the goal. It's like, maybe one day you'll be on Broadway. For me, I was like, maybe I'll be in Lion King or Seaweed and Hairspray, but there was just a few options for me. When I think about how this role is setting an example or just offering representation for young Ferrises or young J. Popes out there, and looking like, yes, you can be in Lion King, but also maybe you could be a Ferris in Choir Boy, or maybe you can be whatever. Like, there's just opportunities for us to kind of shine and talk about our story.
The list of characters of color on Broadway, leading characters like this, is not that large, but then when you look at queer characters of color,
you get real slim.
It gets real slim
on one hand.
I always think it's important for folks to recognize and see themselves. That's thrilling. I think also what's important is that folks who see themselves will also go, that's not all of me. It's important for people to be able to engage in those different conversations, and that we're all having them together, and that there are many perspectives to think about.
It's not a mainstream thing. It's not a thing that you see a queer young Black artist up there as a lead. Here we have, a beautiful story where we kind of go through all of the young boys, but it centers and focuses on Ferris and the things that he, is striving for. And I just think that is so beautiful. And while it can be heartbreaking at times, it's just honest and truthful.
Between Choir Boy's off-Broadway and Broadway debuts, McCraney took the national stage when he won the 2017 Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay alongside director Barry Jenkins for Moonlight, which also took the Best Picture trophy after a surprise snafu.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
How's your Oscar?
I think it's okay. I haven't seen it in a while.
No?
No.
Where'd you put it?
I gave it to a management company to hold.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't live anywhere.
How do you sort of look at that whole experience?
I mean, the most memorable stuff is that, we put up screens in Liberty City. They watched the Oscars in Liberty City, and then the power went out, and then it came back on and we had won, and they were sort of like, like that stuff is thrilling to me, because I'm like, again, it's, those 12 blocks that I grew up in that are just now even more immortalized by this experience. So that's been, just great and fun.
When that moment happened and the world recognized Terrell McCraney, I was so thrilled for him. We are very grateful for the Oscar, but I'm just excited for whatever is to come for him, and excited that people are tuned in to the Terrell Alvin McCraney, because he is a special human being, and we are grateful to have him.
About 10 years ago, really, I gathered up a bunch of short plays that I had written over the previous 10 years, and just did a sort of evening of short plays. And I wrote a sort of starting play named Booty Candy. And so about 5 years after that, I get a call from Howard Showitz at Woolly Mammoth in DC. And he said, there's some of those characters in some of those short plays that might be interesting to revisit and maybe find a through line. And so I took about 3 or 4 of the short pieces from before, and I took some of those characters and I rewrote those things, and then I created a whole other world outside of it. It is autobiographical in its sort of infancy. So in its sort of spark of the imagination, they come from sort of like real encounters that I've had with people. But then, of course, it's completely outrageous. Like, no one wants to actually see my life on stage. But if you sort of twist it and pull it and go to the extreme of the experience, that might be fun. And so that's, that's part of the fun of being in theaters, that you can actually create something that is theatrical. This is different because, it was never supposed to be a play. The characters remind me of real events. Usually you write a play and you're done with it and you move forward. But I've sort of been able to revisit this in DC and Philly and now New York. And so it's just a different task now to go back at a play that you've already done. Almost like Shakespeare in a way, that, when you do another Hamlet or you do another Midsummer or whatever, you try and find another way into the play. New York audiences are very different and much more savvy, and expect more and have seen it all. There's different elements now. There's 4 of the actors have done the play, but none of them have done the play all together before. And then we have 1 new actor who hasn't done the play at all. So it's different energies that are coming in and out of the play, which is sort of exciting, actually. Most of everything that has been in Playwrights for the last 15 years, I've seen. And I was going to Playwrights when they weren't even in this building. And so it is humbling, but also almost a homecoming in a way, to be sort of allowed into and onto the stages of Playwrights Horizons after seeing such dynamic and amazing work. From the moment we did it in DC, some of the cast members were thinking it would be great in New York. Now it feels almost like this was where we were supposed to be. It feels like it should be on 42nd Street. It should be at Playwrights Horizons.
Mommy, why you and Granny call my dick booty candy?
I don't know, I guess because it's candy to the booty.
So can I lick it?
And from this particular letter, I take it that some folk are concerned that some of our choir boys are a little freaky.
This school year, no musicals.
You need to take up some sports.
Sports?
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Football.
I don't give a damn what kind of ball it is, but you will spend this coming summer with balls in your face.
What the hell you gonna put the white dress on for?
What's wrong with this white dress?
Why don't you ask them 2 goddamn kids you already got from 2 different baby daddies what's wrong with it?
You need to stop playing those Whitney Houston albums and stop sitting down to pee.
Booty Candy is a exploration through an African-American queer man's imagination. And we are looking at this man called Sutter and looking through his life through theatre. And it's a lot of different types of theatre. So it's a kaleidoscopic like mess of memories and fantasies.
He grows up in the 70s and we follow him over the course of many decades and a billion vignettes that he has written about what it's like to be Black and gay in America in the 20th century.
I felt that Booty Candy was very sweet and sour and fiery and really spoke to me as a Black queer artist because it was a play that wanted to explore how you can tell your story through theatre.
I think that this play is not for the faint-hearted sometimes. I think this play really revels in exhuming parts of us that are very dark. We do that in a very fun and exciting way, but there's only so much that you can laugh over the kind of pain that is depicted in this show. But I think that with that, we try in equal weights to also douse the show in fun and celebration and music. And I think that it's one of those rare kind of experiences where you bop along and you could cry any minute.
It's about a world that's been created. The fragments, as fragmented as it is, weirdly work together and ultimately get to understand the sheer willpower it takes to tell somebody your story using parts of you.
If I were to describe Booty Candy in 3 words, it would be ass and balls, but I will actually offer you tender, troubled, and titillating.
Sweet, sour, spicy.
Really got the taste.
You're really going there.
I was living in Ghana for about 4.5 to 5 months. I was just gonna stay, but I came back to this country with my friend Nora, and we were both still on a high, like, because we really lived, you know? We ate well, we slimmed down to the size our bodies needed to be. Not to say that you have to be slim, but we were carrying a lot of weight and, like, got to release it. I'm releasing it now, you know what I mean? And Girls was happening, and I kind of missed the first cultural moment. Like, it had been out for a bit, but now it was having a moment. Do you know what I mean? Lena was having a moment. And yo, Lena Dunham, I recognize your genius. You have a genius, for sure. Like, young, agile, good eye, good curator of space. However, I don't really care that she didn't include black people. Her world doesn't include black people. It's fine, I'm not there. If I was there, I'd be there right now. I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be talking to Lena Dunham, you know, wherever the fuck she is currently. So I was like, well, I get to have mine, right? Like, she's not letting me not have mine. And I think the thing is this, that defensiveness of let me have it, no one's telling me I can't. And I think that was the first moment I realized, oh, no one's telling me I can't. So Bed-Stuy, on the border of Bed-Stuy, well, no, now it's in Bed-Stuy proper. I currently live in Bed-Stuy proper. 3 queer black women, one of them straight, but like, who's straight? And they live in this apartment together, and one of them wakes up and finds, has a cancer scare, skin cancer scare, in a hilarious place, not telling you, and her partner refuses to, like, help her, and so she kicks her partner out, and then her other 2 roommates and her decide to have, like, a final turn up for the age, and then it all goes to shit, and it's a day and a night in the life. I didn't realize it was gonna be on this scale. I was just doing like 20 to 30 person readings, you know what I mean? And I was happy as fuck on that, because that was joyful. And we would have these little dance parties on stage before the thing, and it was like, do you know what I mean? And I want to do that here, actually. I haven't told anyone about that yet, but I want to do that here. And I don't know if they will let me, but I will always ask. I realized in these shows, and my favorite part of Seinfeld is when Kramer comes into Jerry's house, you know, and tells the story about what he's gone through. He's like, when he's Batman on the bus, and he's like, so I'm steering the bus with one hand and punching the guy in the other. And he's like, you're Batman, I'm Batman. And like, I was like, but me and my friends do that. You know, it's like, we have these outrageously absurd things happen to us, and all we do during it is coax ourselves and cope with the fact that, like, but I'm gonna tell Nora in like an hour after this nigga leave my house what happened, you know? And so I was like interested in the miraculous in a way that I think Lena Dunham's work doesn't show me that she is, actually. I think she's interested in apathy, nihilism, and self-possession, which is great. But it doesn't do it for me. Like, me and my friends are deeply spiritual niggas, and I feel like she probably is a spiritual person. I don't know to what import or to what end. But I noticed in Girls there was very little girls. There's girls, there's not girls. It's not my girl. I want them to take away that this is a cultural moment. I've been saying that phrase over and over again. This is a cultural moment. And I don't even fully know the import of that. Just that it's big and loud and important, and you should listen to me. But not even me. Like, listen to whatever, to what I wrote, to who these actors are. You know, and we're in that room, and you know, they crying. They ain't even crying as the characters. They just crying as themselves, because they know they have to leave the room and go live the thing that I wrote, which is fucked up. What I wrote is fucked up. So I want people to be like, God damn, it might be fucked up to be you. And then for us to be like, yes. You know what I mean? Just one moment of, yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, is angry a word I shouldn't say? Huh? Just that I don't understand why your friend got mad. I just said she seemed angry, and she literally was angry. And I just don't want to mess... I mean, if there's something new I should be considering when, I don't even know if I'm being coherent, but do you know what I mean?
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Weren't you just here?
No.
Yeah, you were, because Yeah, you walked away to go to the bathroom right after I said the thing about your friend being angry.
Okay, a grand total of none of that happened because that wasn't me.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah, quite.
And who was...
A high likelihood, another black.
Well... Oh, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah, it ain't great.
Fuck. I'm sorry.
I really don't care, but thank you.
No, seriously, I have never done that before.
You sure?
What do you mean?
I mean, you only know you just did that shit because I told you.
Right.
Now, think of all the black people you've ever met.
Oh, God.
Who never told you.
Fuck.
And never will.
Oh. Are you fucking with me?
Oh, most definitely. It's fun.
I think I want to have a kid.
Why do you think people are surprised?
Because I'm black. Because I'm a woman. Because my boyfriend is a painter. I just want advice. Something that can help him.
You should paint from sensation, emotion, desire. Tell him, let go.
So last month, Jiva Theater Center brought in a special show called How to Catch Creation, written by Christina Anderson, and it's still running until the 20th of this month.
The show follows a group of black characters in two timelines in San Francisco in 1966 and 2014. All artists finding their way. Dan Gross has the story.
At its core, cast members for How to Catch Creation say it's an exploration of black artists and creativity. Cedric Mays plays Griffin, an innocent man who had just served 25 years in prison, and talks about his role as well as the other characters.
His form of creation is how do I create a family? Libya's character, Tammy, she's an artist, visual artist as well. She also is the chair of the art department at the university or conservatory. Stokes is a visual artist turned author. How does he create?
While the two timelines in 1996 and 2014 are mostly separate, it shows the sacrifices artists and people have to make to bring something new into the world. But tying the two timelines together is black queer feminist writer G.K. Marché. Alex Givens plays Stokes and says one poem prompts people to ponder in the play.
It says, I write these numbers down, but I don't have the answers. This is for you as you go out into the world to find the answers of how to catch creation. And one thing that I love about that line, every time I read it or hear it, is that Christina throughout the play actually gives us some of those answers.
This is a message that they believe can translate to Rochester too. Givens says that cast members have been giving away tickets to anyone that they meet, saying it's never too late for people to be creative. And they're showing up. Libya Pugh, who plays Tammy, says this.
It's wonderful to hear two black men sitting on a bench with a book, but they're talking about things that are creative and things that affect us in society. And it's just, I hope that this play can bring together the community of Rochester to see that we have things that are more in common than different.
Reporting in Rochester, Dan Gross, News 8.